Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're continuing on with the mtga remastered train of hype, and today we're going to be doing some more best of one with a list that used to exist and do pretty well for a little while. There was a point where it was a very good deck in the standard that it found itself in, and, you know, it fell out of favor a little bit towards the end, and you know, I figured I might as well try it out because it was one of my favorite versions of the God Pharaoh's Gift deck. One of. I do have many different God Pharaoh Gift deck ideas, which are very fun. So, this one might look very familiar to you. It might just look like Muxus Goblins, and that's because mostly it is. I tried not to play Muxus, but then I realized that Muxus is just like the best card in Goblins right now. And if you should play him, why don't you? Essentially. But we're going to actually shove this into a God Pharaoh's Gift shell. So for those who don't know, this is a new mtga card. I say new. It's an old mtga card from mtga. 7 mana artifact. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard, and if you do, create a token that's a copy of that card, except for it's a 4/4 black zombie and gains haste until the end of the turn. We're going to be comboing that off with Gate to the Afterlife, and we're primarily going to be a Gate to the Afterlife deck, technically. But this is one of those cards that's very much synergizes with the GPG, because it says when a non-token creature you control dies, you gain 1 life and then draw a card and discard a card. That allows you to fuel your graveyard for God Pharaoh's Gift. When you get to 6 creatures in your graveyard, you can pay 2 and sacrifice it to search your library for a God Pharaoh's Gift and put it onto the battlefield. So essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing a ton of 1-drops, which you may notice they're actually capable of sacrificing themselves in many different ways. And we're going to be ramping up to a Gate to the Afterlife. Once we've got that out, we're going to be trying to kill as many goblins as we can in order to get 6 creatures into our graveyard. So Skirt Prospector is very useful with this, allowing us to sack goblins to add red. So on turn 3, we're going to drop down Gate to the Afterlife, and hopefully we'll have a Skirt Prospector in play. And when we do, we'll sack goblins, and as we do that, we're going to earn 1 red mana, drawing and discarding and gaining life as we go. As long as we got 2 mana by the end of that little chain and 6 creatures in our graveyard, we're going to be able to trigger Gate to the Afterlife and then reanimate some of those creatures that we've been sacrificing. From there, hopefully we've drawn and discarded a Muxus, and then Muxus can do his disgusting thing, putting all goblin creature cards from the top 6 cards of your library onto the battlefield, except for Muxus. And then he comes back and he attacks for +1/+1 for each goblin you control. So, you know, we hope to essentially get out a haster with like Goblin Chieftain or Goblin War Chief alongside something like Krenko and other Krenko. These ones have like a very good benefit to attacking straight away. Krenko's going to make you some goblins. It goes quite well with the goblins Pharaoh's Gift style, because if you do reanimate him with GPG, he comes back as a 4 and swings for 5. So you'll make 5 1/1s off of the hasty Krenko coming through, which is kind of nice. I don't know if he's necessarily better than Krenko Mob Boss, one of my all-time favorite goblins, who also will come back as a 4/4 and taps with haste to make goblins, where X is the number of goblins you control, effectively doubling your goblins and maybe making infinite mana with Skirt Prospector. The fun part about this deck is you can actually hardcast the Goblin Pharaoh's Gift reasonably early, as well as Muxus. Since we do have the Goblin War Chief here to give goblins cost reduction, we can get to an early Muxus perhaps. And we also, of course, have Skirt Prospector, so if we don't have Get to the Afterlife in play, but maybe we have one in our hand of God Pharaoh's Gift, we can sack our board and do the same and just hard cast this one off of all the goblins we're going to be playing. We do have some multipliers with Goblin Instigator. This is a 2 mana 1/1 that makes a 1/1. So, you know, it's effectively going to the turn after ramp you up 2 mana, which is kind of cool. It does make a token though, and this does say non-token for when things die, so you got to keep that in mind. And we do have some Gem Palm Incinerators as well, because they actually go into the graveyard when you cycle them, which helps with the Gate to the Afterlife, but it's also just that tiny little bit of removal should we need it. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this deck. It's definitely not as good as Turbo Muxus, and it's probably not the best version of Gate to the Afterlife or God Pharaoh's Gift that you'll ever see, but we're never on this channel trying to make the best possible deck ever. We're just trying to have a little bit of fun, and hopefully we get to do that in today's video. If you have a little bit of fun with today's video, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for some more content like this in the future. Without further ado, let's get to it. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Okay, we're in no skirt prospector, but we do have a gate to the afterlife and a creature that will sack itself, so we can at least get that kind of that train going on turn 3. So it's going to be Firebrand, Instigator, Gate, probably sack Firebrand. If our opponent is playing like a Llanowar Elves deck, then we will want to sack that immediately to stop our opponent. It's never worth keeping a Goblin around like a Firebrand if your opponent plays a Llanowar Elves. There's just too much guaranteed value for them there. So let's see what they can do. What are we up against? It is a green deck, and it's going to be Stitcher's Supplier. Alright, so graveyard deck of their own. And it's got Maya Triton. Okay. We did get another Firebrand, which is cute. I'm almost tempted to play that now, actually. Reason being, I can sack both of them to trigger Gate to the Afterlife, and we could have Gate on by turn 4 at this rate. Since we got the 4 creatures from the draw and discard, we just really want something like Skirt Prospector, I think would really send us over the edge here. Alright, so Fable Passage cracks for a red. Are they going to be like a Storm Herald deck? I suppose it's possible. Alright, so now we actually decide whether or not we want to start triggering Gate to the Afterlife here. We're going to have 4 creatures in our yard guaranteed by the end of next turn, which is not quite enough. But we will have 4 mana, so we can play something nice. So yeah, our opponent's just going to get in. We're going to allow that. We don't want to fuel their graveyard if we can help it. And are they mana screwed, or are they just waiting? Looks kind of like a Storm Herald list. I know I used to run Maya Tritons and Stitcher's Suppliers in mine. And it is in the Jund colours. Really don't want to see... Ooh, Village Rites on Stitcher's Supplier. Okay. Maybe it's just Jund's Sacrifice. Corpse Churn. Okay, fair enough. So I'm going to sack and draw 2. I'm just going to hold our Firebrands until the last possible moment. There's really not a great deal... Ooh, Creeping Chill. Interesting deck. Alright, so they drain us for 3. I did in testing go up against... it was just red-black, actually, when we played it. So actually, what I'm going to do here is... I think I'm going to get the Instigator killed by killing it with my own Firebrand. So we're going to point 1 at the Goblin Instigator. That kills 2 of our creatures then. And then we get to draw and discard. Got a Chieftain. We will discard Chieftain, kill Instigator, draw and discard. Another Gate to the Afterlife. Ooh. 1, 2, 3. Now we can enable the Gate to the Afterlife. Yeah, I think we get rid of Instigator. Ping our opponent. Draw and discards. That's Muxus. Oh, absolute best possible draw there. So, sack Gate to the Afterlife. Search our library for a Godfarer's Gift. And we're just going to pull Muxus out of the graveyard. 4/4 with haste. Puts many goblins into play. Not the best hit ever, to be honest, but... we've got what we need here to win the game, but also potentially just... we could play... 1, 2, 3 gates. Yeah, it's not much point. Yeah, we've got what we need to win the game next turn. And, you know, board state's already there, and we can rebuild it easily with another Gate to the Afterlife sacrifice. Fill it just enough to sack this one off, if we need to. I was wondering whether or not I wanted to go for the Gate to the Afterlife, just in case they had... the Chain Whirler combo. Call of the Death Dweller plus Chain Whirler is essentially a board wipe, which is cute. Alright, so we're going to go Gate to the Afterlife. We don't have enough in just yet. So let's... we're going to Instigator Let's trigger on the Torch Courier. It's got to be a non-token to trigger Gate to the Afterlife. Put War Chief in the yard. Sack Gate to the Afterlife. Search your library. Get a Godfarer's Gift. Play Torch Courier. Go to combat. Gonna get a War Chief. And a Chieftain. And then before we go to combat, double the amount of goblins. And all attack. Alright. Seems good. Again, I'm sure Turbo Muxus could do that a lot better than we could. But you cannot lie. There are some serious style points involved with using GPG to get it done. Lots of throwing your cards around the table and watching your opponent flail as they try not to die. I do like this deck a lot, but, you know, it's mediocre. I'm not going to deny that, but it's fun. It's very fun. Alright, we're in. We've got Prospector, we got Gate to the Afterlife, we've got a good Instigator. This hand is... ooh, it's exceptional. We're going to lead off with the Firebrand first, because if our opponent does have something like a Shock, we'd rather them use it on that before the Prospector. They've got a Llanowar Elves, okay. So, let's see how we want to do this, because we do want to kill Llanowar Elves, I think. This is an awkward one. Maybe I should have gone with the Prospector. I think I have to let them keep their Llanowar Elves. You don't necessarily want to do that a lot of the time, but I think next turn we can maybe gate into a Godfarer's Gift. And there's going to be a little bit of luck involved as to what we reanimate with it, I think, because nothing we've got right now is necessarily as good. Alright, so take one. Pass the turn. Another Skirt Prospector. Okay, so that's actually very good for us. It means we've got another sack option. So, first and foremost, we are going to sack Prospector to itself. Draw and discard. Put Instigator into the yard. I'm going to play Prospector. We are then going to kill Llanowar Elves with Firebrand. Draw and discard. Oh, come on. Oh, that's a big stinger. Alright, well. We're halfway there. Could have done with a few less lands here, unfortunately. Domri's Ambush. Well, it's not going to make a difference if I sack it or not, because it's got 2 legal targets, so we get to draw and discard. That's number 4. More lands, great. I guess that's going to happen sometimes, but wouldn't necessarily put that down as the deck being bad. I would just call that being very unlucky. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Instigator is number 5 if they're getting for combat, and then the draw and discard. No! Are you kidding me? Gemraiser? Oh, we are just getting absolutely pwned. And there would have been Torch Courier. We would have had Godfarer's Gift ready to go, but they've got Gemraiser. Yeah, this is one of those matches you're just not going to win. Just not winning this one at all. Ember Cleave me. I'm sure you've got it. I'm sure you go land Ember Cleave and do just fine. Rugged Highlands, fair enough. Questing Beast, yes. Yeah, got to 2. There's nothing we can draw here that gets us out of this. Goblin War Chief, yep, that was abysmal. Next game. Alright, we're in. Ah, it's another weird hand. I think it's keepable. I think it really needs something like either a Prospector or a Firebrand so we can point it at the Instigator token, or non-token, sorry, to trigger Gate to the Afterlife on 3. That's what it really needs. Oh! Oh! Thank you, Daddy RNG. You're dead kind to me. Alright. So this is going to be an awkward one where they could have Lofty Denial. We really don't want them to Lofty Denial the wrong thing here. And they certainly could. We're certainly not also going to be swinging in here because they can have any kind of flashing creature, and we do not want that. So it's either Flyers or it's Blue Temper or Spirits specifically. Unsure what it could be. But we're going to assume they have a flash because they've held priority on pretty much everything we've done. Brazen Borrow, my Skirt Prospector. Absolutely fine. It'd be ideal if you didn't counter it, but also absolutely fine. Hello. Hello, Skirt Prospector. How goes it? You let that go, did you? Alright, I'll play another one. I'm in no real rush here, I think, to pop off, as the kids would say. I think I can do it at any time. I'm just going to wait for my window of opportunity where they're a little bit tapped out. Love to see that. That's great. That token means nothing to me. It was dead to me the moment it came out. Oh boy. Now this one's going to be a bit difficult. Now we're in slightly difficult territory. Because it actually turns out to be Simic Flash. So there's a hell of a lot more they could have here. Going for Muxus is a death sentence. Let's go for War Chief. Let's see what they do. What do, opponent? What do? Rewind! Oh boy. Yeah, that's not ideal. Just untap all your lands casually. Well, play Torch Courier. We are getting kind of all the counters out of them and all their heavy interaction. So we're getting closer to the point where I'll feel comfortable dropping a Gate to the Afterlife. And I think next turn we'll go about doing that. We'll go Gate. If we get Gate, we actually flip it. We've got 2 Brazen Borrowers out as well, so God Pharaoh's Gift going into our hand is not the end of the world. We could hardcast it at this point as well, which is fine. But if I get, I think, a land, I can go Gate plus Muxus. Which is kind of cool. Alright, let's go Gate. Only got the 1 creature in the yard. But we can fuel that. We've technically got them right here. They let it go. Alright, fair enough. Well, I'm not going to fire it off. I'm just going to send some damage through. How about that? We can sort it out on their turn. I'll put a Muxus in the yard. Brineborn Cutthroat. So if they go for, like, Brazen Borrower here, I can, in response, flip the Gate. Do I do it now? If they have another Brazen Borrower, that's going to be awkward. I guess I don't need to do it now. Then again, now would be the time to cycle a Gem Palm if we found it. Perhaps we do a little bit. We'll go for 1 Instigator, see what happens. Draw and discard, we're going to put Muxus in the graveyard, I think. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to put War Chief in the yard, because actually I think what I'm going to do is try to cast Muxus, see if it gets countered. If it gets countered, I sack my board, flip Gate, and have a laugh. More lands, okay. So we go for Muxus. Sack this Torch Courier. And we've still got the 2 Goblins here to trigger Muxus. Or trigger Gate, sorry. Another Gate to the Afterlife. So close to being able to cast that. Excuse me, game! Well, that's a combat step I won't get back. I hate this game. I really hate it. Why can't I sack my prospectors? But you... Oh my god. What is wrong with you? What is actually wrong with you, game? Alright, well, Gate to the Afterlife. Slam that full control on. Alright, fair enough. They're gonna go for a rewind. Which is fine. I'm going to sack... Am I gonna... No, I'm not gonna sack here. I'm just gonna go Gate to the Afterlife. I was wondering whether or not I wanted the life. I don't think I care. Let's go get, from my library, God Pharaoh's Gift, please. Before it goes and skips through another combat step. And then we just have to hope Muxus is enough. Here we go. Muxus, please. Give me something good. Actual worst possible hit. Good to know. Good to know. Look at that. Yeah, all the Muxus. Oh, this is amazing. There's 11 damage. It's not enough. We'll get in with Muxus. And then we'll cry a little bit. We do have Firebrand kill Brazen Borrower, so we bought a little bit of time there. And we don't have to do it now because we can use it to block the Cutthroat. Yeah, so we're only taking 4 in the air. Unless they've got a Curious Obsession. Okay. Or a Dive Down. I guess that also works. Nope. Alright, so what are we hitting? Got nothing really good in the yard at all. Hardcast Muxus, that's what I want. We've already put 2 to the bottom though, so there's literally 1 that we actually stand a chance of hitting. I hate Magic the Gathering sometimes. But I only hate it because it hates me. I want to make that abundantly clear. We actually have to get a Fanatical Firebrand here. And hope they don't have another Flash Flyer. Swing and force a block. Oh, it's not a force block, it's 6 points of damage. Because this is a zombie now. That's right. I guess it was with Embereth, though. Before they have a chance to have Dive Down, let's get rid of Brazen Borrower. They need literally Spectral Sailor here to win right now. And I need something literally actually good in order to win on my next turn. Can it be actually good, please? We're at 1. Okay, here we go. That is... I'm full controlling, because I do not trust it. I think it could be the win. Full control. God Pharaoh's Gift. It turned full control off. I hate this game. We have to go for War Chief, I think, to give haste to the tokens I'm going to make off of Krenko pre-combat. I'm then going to use Skirk Prospector to sack Krenko in order to give all my creatures +1/+0. And then swing. Do they have a fog? You wouldn't run fogs now, would you? Be very careful with this deck. Skirt Prospector is bugged, apparently. You would think with the amount of Turbo Muxus decks around, they would have fixed that by now. But apparently not. Oh, thank Christ for that. Yeah, several occasions where the game screwed us over and we still managed to win. Alright, well, I can't really recommend you actually play this deck based off of that, essentially. That little interaction right there. Can't recommend it. It will actually lose you games. It almost lost us one. We got to 1. But, yeah, I mean, beating Simic Flash feels pretty good nonetheless. So, you know, happy about it, I guess. Next game. Okay, we're in. No sign of Godfarer's Gift, but an otherwise fine hand, I would say. As goblins go, this looks like a hand I would keep if it wasn't combo-centric. So we're going to try it out. So what would we like to see here? A Gate to the Afterlife is nice. Honestly, we could probably ramp into a Muxus if we find a Skirt Prospector first. That'd be nice. Really, we want to just find Gate to the Afterlife, or Muxus, really. I think that's about it. Or more Lord effects, I guess. Goblin Chieftain's not the worst. Ooh, Krenko is actually very good. We can potentially build up a nice little board from that, and as long as they don't have board wipes like Cry the Carnarium, we should be good. Okay. Jund. Might be a Sarkhan's Unsealing deck. So we really want to race our opponent as quick as possible. I think we're just going to go with the Goblin Chieftain for that reason. And this looks like a good old-fashioned Goblin off. What happens when you don't find your Godfarer's Gift? Just beat him with goblins. Alright, so we can do War Chief, Firebrand, say good game to our opponent, and they explode. Sure. I mean, they're going to 2. So, untap, I can kill them with Firebrand. Storm's Wrath. Damn. Alright, well, Krenko. See what they can do. Bone Crusher Giant, yep, sure. So we've got 6 creatures in the yard, so if we find a Gate to the Afterlife, we're in a really good spot. We're almost hard casting Godfarer's Gift at this rate, and one step closer with the mountain. Please don't stabilize. I'll be very upset if you stabilize. Opponent stabilizing at 2 would be the worst. Ooh, they're taking their chances that I can't haste through. Well, it's a good chance, because I'm just drawing lands. Here comes Coco, so we'll see some Regisaurs, some Lovestruck Beasts. There's Regisaur, and we're dead. Are you kidding me? I'm not disappointed. I am genuinely upset. Genuinely upset with that one. Had everything going for us, and they had Storm's Wrath. Oh my god. Alright, well, next game, I suppose. Alrighty then, we're in. This hand's garbage, so we're going to immediately pretend we didn't see it and complain that we started with a 6-card hand for some reason. Why does our opponent get to start with a 7-card hand when we just randomly started with 6? It was really weird. You know what? Sure. This is just a normal Goblin hand, and we take those. Soul Warden. Alright, up against Soul Sisters, and that is a dead Soul Warden. Just gonna straight up yeet that into the atmosphere, since I'm sure there was something horrendous following it anytime, and we were gonna play a 1-drop on turn 2 anyway, so... You know what? If you want it, have it. Opponent doesn't want it. Okay. So next turn we go Chieftain, swing for 4, maybe. We don't want to see them play, like, Pride Mates here. That would be awkward. And if they didn't play anything, that would also be awkward. Banishing Light. Oh, you're gonna regret. You're gonna regret that one. We should have sacked that, actually, to give the Healer's Hawk haste, but in our graveyard. That was a mistake. It's more important in our graveyard than it is under that Banishing Light. But next turn we get to go Krenko and immediately activate. Short of another Banishing Light. Well, at least we get Krenko down. It's better than nothing, right? And if we get Skirt Prospector, I imagine we win. There's a Johnny's Pride Mate. Opponent's finally found it. It's going to be a 3-3. Alright, more lands. Well, looks like Turbo Muxus, more like normal Muxus, is going to be the situation here. Daxos, sure. And they can get in. They don't want to trade Pride Mate with Krenko? I would. I absolutely would. I think they're doing the math on it, and yep, they've figured it out. It is absolutely worth... Nope, never mind, it is absolutely not worth it to them to do that. Fair enough. I mean, it can get bigger, but what better trade than with a Krenko mob boss, right? Alright, here goes Muxus. See how many things we can roll over. That's alright. Considering we get to do that. And yeah, I'll attack. That's a 21-21. That needs to be blocked. And then there's an exceptional amount of damage on its way. You're at 6 life gain deck. Need to deal with Krenko. Otherwise, that's going to end the game on its own. Opponent just hits for 11. Shatter the Sky. Why are you playing Shatter the Sky? What is wrong with the world today? Alright. Well, it's 5 damage. Could have him dead right here. Double creature would be less than ideal, but other than that, I think everything's fine. Yep. What a weird situation. So we've had like a Jun's deck with Storm's Wrath in it. And then now we've had Pride Mates with Shatter the Sky in it. I mean, if you're going to, just do Wrath of God. That's so weird. I've never seen anyone run Shatter. Is that a thing now? Do people do that now? I don't know. Either way, nice game. Okay, we're in. This hand is very strange. Very strange. I'm going to keep it and see what happens. I don't know if you do normally, though. Alright, well, turn 1 Firebrand. We're not going to do a great deal until turn 3, so we're going to really need something like an Instigator or a Skirt Prospector next turn in order to really pop off here. Yeah, it's an odd one. So, essentially I'm keeping it because I've got Gate to the Afterlife and a Sackable in play. So I've already kind of got that draw and discard. So as far as like turn 3 is concerned, it's fairly sorted-ish. It's just the early game is a little bit questionable. We're immediately stopped in our tracks by the Arboreal Grazer, though. So no more combat for us, but that's fine. We were probably just going to yeet it at our opponent's face anyway. Another Muxus. Yeah, this is getting stranger by the second. Well, Muxus is the best card to put into our graveyard, without a doubt. Good old GS into the yard there. And see what they do. Uro. Yep. All this looks fairly familiar. Almost looks like a standard deck. Just like most decks. That's not fair. They fixed standard. Wow, this is suddenly turning into a disturbingly bad hand. Alright, well, I'm not going to fire off the Firebrand until I absolutely need to. It is a Sultai Field of the Dead deck. Fair enough. I think we lose. We took a bad hand. That comes with the territory of bad hands. Jesus. Alright. Well, Gate to the Afterlife numero dos. And I think we fire it off now, because we actually get two draw and discards for each creature dying, so if you can find something like a Skirt Prospector, then we might have a game on our hands. Muxus into the yard. Play Skirk Prospector. And we've got 3 creatures. We only have 1 mana, though, to play with here, so we're going to pass the turn. And go for it next turn. We might actually have double Godfarer's Gift, though, next turn. For whatever that's worth, it'd be double Muxus, so... Is it enough to beat 9 million zombies? It's a lot of damage. Yeah, we're at 6. We do gain a little bit of life, though, from our Gate to the Afterlives. Third Field of the Dead. Alright, they've got what I would assume is their nut draw. Pretty damn confident about that. Alright, let's see if we can have our nut hits here. We're gonna suck the Torch Courier into the graveyard. Okay. Might as well just dump that. Draw and discard. So how many have we got in there now? 4. This would be 5. And Instigator is 6. Okay, draw and discard. Just going to fuel up our yard. I mean, double Muxus is absolutely the only thing we're going to play. I might as well just make my land drops for the turn. I'll keep that one, I guess. Okay, and then we go 1, 2. I guess we fuel up with Instigator, actually. Here we go. Blind, throw some stuff in the trash. War Chief's not too bad. Alright, and then we activate Gate to the Afterlife. One's in our graveyard, so we'll get Godfarer's Gift. And then the other is in our library. We'll get Godfarer's Gift. Activate both of them. We'll get Muxus. Hit pretty damn well. We'll go get Muxus. And we'll keep that one. Hit reasonably well. The game also just went straight to combat without allowing me to go with my Krenko Mob Boss. So again, I'm exceptionally angry with the game that it seems to want to keep doing that. Don't know why it's very insistent on actually trying to make me lose, but here we are. We're just going to pass, make 1,000,000 goblins to block, and now zombies don't look too great. They need, like, Massacre Worm at this point. I guess because I've only got this 2/2 Chieftain, they can play Cry the Carnarium. That would do a pretty hefty amount of damage. Alright. Pass the turn. Yeah, again, be very careful with the game deciding when you should go to combat. It's never great. Okay. There we go. 1 by 1 by 1 by 1. And that's 4 damage. We can take 4 damage. My goodness. What a wonderful screen that was. Alright, then what happens? So, out of my yard, I've got Chieftain Instigator, I guess. That's like 6 points. Ooh, they get to Extinction Event, name Even. And yeah, that's still lethal on board. Got another one? I actually should be sacking in response to all my non-tokens as well. But it doesn't matter. Couple of errors today. Apologize for that, chap. You know, it happens. Alright, Instigator. Make a 2-2, go to combat. Make Goblin Chieftain come out of the woodwork. And make Instigator come out. Opponent does not have Settle the Wreckage mana open. And yeah, we go for the big swing-a-rooney. Coming at ya. Mr. Field of the Dead player. Oh, passed out at the table. Living up to the name. I'm losing. Best go make sure dinner's ready. You love to see it. Yeah. I was gonna say that their deck looks kind of cool. You don't really need Hour of Promise. The zombies are largely irrelevant. I guess, actually, no. That's false. Hour of Promise is very good. You don't need deserts for Hour of Promise, and I think our opponent knows that. But maybe grabbing Field of the Dead was definitely like their best possible hit. The only reason you'd want deserts is essentially to have unique cards, but this basically just lets you grab any land anyway, so you can already get the unique lands no matter what. It's just such a small amount of value that it's really not worth it. Good game. Nice. Your go. It's your go. You're gonna rope me? I'm gonna emote spam you. Oops, I win. Alright. Nice amount of damage. Our opponent, you know, lets us know how much damage we dealt by not blocking. It makes the math a little bit easier, you know? Here we go. It's not even hissing anymore. It just knows that they're gone. Alright. I'm Drunk is at minus 24, which means a grand total of 34 damage there. Not too bad, unlike our opponent, who is terrible and should feel bad. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Again, must stress, this deck is not better than Turbo Muxus, and it is not the best version of the Gate to the Afterlife Godfarer's Gift build. Maybe I'll come back with another one that I find a little bit more powerful and interesting. But I do very much enjoy Goblin Pharaoh's Gift. When it first cropped up, I was in love with it, so figured I'd give it another run around now that things like this bad boy right here, Ruiner of Historic, turns up. I haven't seen him much, actually, recently. And when I have, I've been glad, because my grind deck is the Boros Auras list that we played a while back, the budget one. And I have since updated it when Muxus came out and became everything. And I just put Hushbringer in as one of the other creatures, so every single creature in their deck, like Instigator and Wily Goblin, they're all ETBs. So you just kind of stop them from playing their deck. It's great. It's great. They have to basically play a normal Goblin game against you, and their deck's kind of weirdly warped just to play Muxus and win. So when Muxus enters the battlefield and does nothing, it's just chef's kiss. But yes, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. It greatly helps out the channel, and I appreciate it a lot. So yeah, hope you have a good day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.